One of the most polarizing topics I see in Lash forums is where everybody has a very strong opinion on right versus wrong, whether you work on another lash artist's work or not. And I, for one, had some of my most favorite clients come from how I approach this very topic, which is what I'm going to dive into on today's episode. When I started out on my own, I totally bought into the common response of never work on another lash artist's work. No, it was like a cardinal sin. And artists and forums would say things like, you can't guarantee the results if you have somebody else's work on there, or the work is so bad in my area, I couldn't possibly get my tweezers through it, or the mixing of glues goes against my insurance, which I don't even know if that's a thing, but you know, to power to you. And sometimes some of you had no reason for why you don't work on other artists' work except for maybe your ego. Awkward. So stick with me here. When you don't fill in a client's lashes because your oh so great lash skills, and I am using air quotes because it's not always the greatest, but maybe you think you're the best thing to happen to lash artistry in your city, so be it. Many of you are. When you're not working on a client's lashes because you don't want your work tainted by somebody else's work, is that in the best interest of the client or your ego? Likely the ego. I absolutely filled other lash artists' work, and I'll share with you why I did it and some of my top tips on how you can say yes to a client with lashes on currently and why you should be saying yes to them within reason. So first, set the expectation and some healthy boundaries around it so that you can say yes. Find a way to say yes. It can have a but that follows it, yes, but, and we'll go over some of those stipulations, but who likes turning away money? This is where I actually started to challenge the whole, we don't work on other artists' work, that lash artists don't work on each other's work, because I was like, why not? Like, this client is reaching out to me. She just paid like $200 last week and she's unhappy with the results, didn't feel she could go back to that lash artist. She has a problem and she's reaching out to me specifically to solve it. Why am I going to continue to turn this away? So this is where I actually really thought through, why am I turning this money away? This person is clearly coming to me to solve a problem, and me, just because everybody else doesn't work on other lash artists' work, I'm going to say no. Didn't quite add up. So you can absolutely say yes, and we want to have some stipulations around it so that you're not getting yourself into a tricky spot and you're not just blindly saying yes, because there are times when it really isn't in the client's best interest for you to continue applying lashes. It really depends on what's going on in the client's eyes and who they're coming in from, because some people, they've done so much damage to the natural lashes, there's just no way that you could get any work done. But a lot of the issues that at least I experienced, because I promoted myself as a natural lash safe lash artist, were just people who were coming in with poor retention, and they were coming in with lashes that were damaging in the sense of like being too heavy, too long, too thick, twisting, all of that. Very rarely, I only had one instance where there was so much glue and so much chunking and so much natural lash damage that I removed, and I said, I really need to get you on something that's going to be safer for your natural lashes, and we did lash rehab. So stipulation number one, say yes as long as they meet your fill requirement. Now, a lot of you, if you've been listening to me for a hot minute, you know I don't like percentages, like 50% to be considered a fill. It's vague and a discretionary, and especially if you've got another lash artist work coming in, you can't tell what 50% is. Maybe they walked out with 50% of lashes, and so now they only have like 10%. Do you even know? Like, come on. So X amount of lashes, a finite number. For me, that was 15, depending on your speed, depending on your expectations. It could be 30 lashes per eye. It could be, I wouldn't go under 15 lashes per eye, because then you're getting really into doing a full set. But for me, if you came in with 15 extensions per eye or more, you could have a fill. If it was less on either eye, then it would be considered a full set. This was an expectation that I set out from the beginning of any conversation with a client who already had lashes on, so that if they had retention problems from their last lash artist, seriously, try and say that 3 times fast. Last lash artist, go ahead, I know you're saying it 3 times fast. okay, we can move on, that they likely weren't going to last very long. And so if they were having retention issues, they were likely going to need a full set, but it depends. Maybe they just went 3 days ago and they're still having okay retention. So that's stipulation number 1, that you're not doing a full set for a fill price. Stipulation number 2, yes, as long as their natural lash health is intact and in good standing to my standards, that would be your standards, not me particularly, your standards of lash health. Explain what that is, that I need to be able to get my tweezers through your lashes without it catching. You can actually do that, and the client will know if a bunch of lashes are stuck together, because it'll hurt or it'll pull. Obviously, we're not going to go so tough that we're going to rip out a lash, but oh, see, it's catching here. Oh, see, it's catching here. Maybe 1 or 2 is fine for you if you get a couple of little stickies, but if you can't even get your tweezers in the lashes, if you've set this expectation of as long as the lashes or the extensions are applied in a healthy, lash safe kind of way, I'll know by digging my, not the right word to use. I'll know by brushing my tweezers through your lashes if they're applied properly. And you will know as well, client, because you will feel whether I get caught or not. So even as you're going through them, when you've got the client there, they'll notice it catching and be like, yeah, I really do. It's really in your best interest to do a removal and a new full set so that we don't keep having these stickies, because this is going to cause damage. I will always tell this either in my policies and to my client in person, that I will discuss any changes to what we've agreed upon before any service starts. And this should be your policy no matter what. Don't just give clients extra time or charge them extra or not discuss what it is you're going to do in the service until afterwards. That's how you get really pissed off clients, that they didn't agree to any service. If you are proposing, I really think this is a 90-minute fill as opposed to a 60-minute fill, that will be an extra how many ever dollars, or that will make today's service X amount of dollars. Is that okay with you? Never assume that they're okay paying more unless they have outright said, yes, I'm okay with paying that amount. You're going to get some pissed off clients if you start just handing out stuff because you're the expert, but you don't ever have that conversation that there's going to be an additional charge. And if you don't set that expectation first, you're going to be the one who's caving to make that client happy. So you may be doing a 90-minute fill at the 60-minute fill price because you didn't set that expectation beforehand. Same thing with fill clients, or if you have clients coming in with current lashes, I will let you know if I think it's a fill or if it's a full set. We will discuss that before any services start. That way it puts their mind at ease that if they're not expecting a full set because they think their lashes are okay, that they're going to know, and they have the right to say, no, thank you. I don't want to pay for that today. And you're just going to have to kind of eat the money at that point. I wouldn't charge them their deposit or anything. It really is in everybody's best interest that they're happy, they walk away, they don't want the full set, fine, go walk around with your crappy lashes. Stipulation number 3, for the first 2 or 3 appointments, depending on the retention of the past lash artist extensions, that your client satisfaction or your guarantee or whatever it is that you ensure that clients get the results they want does not apply. Let them know that. That way we get rid of, I can't guarantee my work. You're still finding a way to say yes. Just say that my client satisfaction policy doesn't kick in until we know that these extensions are off. And that'll take about 2 to 3 appointments for all of your current extensions from the old lash artist to fall out. So if you run into an issue, please communicate it with me, but I can't guarantee all of my work when it's not all of my work. So we can't tell whether it's my extensions falling off or her extensions falling off. Therefore, the client satisfaction policy kicks into place when it is all of my work, which happens in about 2 to 3 appointments. That way you can, again, say yes, but with this stipulation. And the final stipulation that I'm going to offer to you is that you must have them book a new client fill or a new client touch-up, right? So it's not your current clients who are at the fill, you know, their 2 to 3 week appointment or whatever. It's a new client touch-up. So this is a specific client, or this is a specific appointment for clients who are coming in with other lash artist work. You should price it higher than your highest fill appointment and lower than your full set price, kind of somewhere in between. Same thing with the timing. It should be the longest appointment of the fills, but not as long as a full set. It's the middle ground there. So this is their one-time appointment for you to understand what their lashes are doing, for you to get a grasp on where the other lash artist left off, how you can seamlessly blend into your work, have a full consultation to assess results and expectations. So you've got enough time and you're being paid well enough to dive into this client's lashes without it having to be a full set, and without charging them a full set because they've likely just paid for that recently, and without charging the fill price that really is for ongoing work of yours that you can just start right in and pick up where you left off. So a new client touch-up is their one-time appointment with you, and after that, as long as they have not gotten their lashes done anywhere else, they're back to the regular fill pricing. So it's just their one-time kind of intro into you, where you can do a full consultation, do any removals as needed, and take some time to kind of get a feel for where the other artist left off so that you can kind of make your work seamless in there. So that is my 4 stipulations that I recommend that you are able to say yes with healthy boundaries around, or with healthy expectations set. Now, another reason why you should be working on other lash artists' work, again, if all those stipulations are met, is because it really can challenge your artistry in a way that nothing else can. I had the best and the most challenging times to my artistry when somebody came in, it's somebody else's work, and I have no idea what they're doing, but I got to make my work fix in with it. The first time I ever saw volume done without being real volume, like where it's fanned out, but it was just like a chunk of lashes, which is a style, right? Like, just because we think volume is the fan spread out with equal symmetry, there is a style of taking thinner but longer lashes in, 3 or 4 without fanning them to give more of a spiky look. That actually challenged me to, how can I safely apply lashes like this and experiment with my artistry, because I hadn't seen that style done before. I could have looked at it and said, this is wrong, this is bad, but instead I decided to challenge my artistry of how can I make this work given my knowledge of what natural lash health can handle, and maybe start experimenting on my clients a spikier look for those that want it. To also see what somebody else is doing. Maybe their lashes are on the long side, maybe they're on the thick side, and you have to blend your shorter, lighter lashes in. So then you have to try and figure out how to balance in those longer lashes and make your work look like it's intentional without the client walking away looking lopsided or weird. Also, if you're used to applying one eye at a time, but the symmetry of the remaining extensions from the last lash artist, you may have to go back and forth to make them equal. So again, it's challenging you to get outside of your comfort zone. It also challenges you on how to assess natural lash health. You will start to see what real damage looks like and go, that's not what my natural lashes look like after, at their 2 to 3 week appointment. So this must be what natural lash damage is. You'll also learn a lot of what your competition is doing that you can start to position yourself and market against. I had one client come in, the one I had to do the full removal for, and she said her lash artist never removed extensions. She would only cut the extensions to make sure that they were the right length. And she said sometimes she would cut too far and her eyes would be uneven. And I'd be like, okay, I didn't know this was a thing that people taught. But it made sense because the client's lashes were so glued together, like isolation wasn't even a realm of possibility for this lash artist, that there's no way she could have removed an extension that had grown out, or, she would have had to do a full removal and a full set every time because there was so much chunking together that her only option was to cut the extensions to not have them look so grown out. And so for me, that became a point of, here's what not to do in a educational way on posts. If you ever hear your lash artist cutting your extensions, this is a sign that that lash artist is not properly trained. Boom, there's a whole social media post. There's like 6 social media posts if I wanted it. So it's a way for you to kind of learn what everybody else is doing in your city or town and find ways that you are unique compared to them, and then start to market that. And lastly, the last reason why I think that you should be working on other lash artists' work, again, when the stipulations are met, is that you become the hero to that client and you save the day. Rather than you looking at your ego, what's in it for you, you really do solve a very big problem for that client who was very unhappy that she couldn't even go back to that last lash artist. Maybe it's that your lashes last longer and she's so happy that she's willing to pay a higher price for you to have the result of lashes that last 3 weeks or 4 weeks when she could only get 10 days out of the last lash artist. I'm going to stop saying that because it keeps tripping me up. For me, my most loyal, amazing clients came in under a new client touch-up. The ones that I adored and who were with me for years was because they were going to another lash artist. Either they went to one of the franchises where they never had the same lash artist. I educated these clients on maybe why they were having undesirable results, and it made sense to them. They struggled with retention. They struggled with length and wonkiness, and my lashes were very different because I did prioritize natural lash health. So if you are premium priced, if you are a higher price, I do recommend you having this new client touch-up or new client fill options so that those that have paid the cheaper prices don't have to pay for a full set with you as long as they meet the stipulations that we discussed, because then they see the value. It's almost like a night and day difference instantly when they open their eyes as to what they were paying and getting before to what they're paying now and investing in now in the results that they get. Now, note, I do want to make this one quick clarification that this whole approach does not apply for anybody who uses the A word, allergy. I do not recommend you working on anybody who has had allergies or reactions to lashes in the past. Chances are 99% of the time, if they've had an allergic reaction in the past, they will have it again. Once you build up an allergy, you are allergic for life. So no amount of changing adhesives or sensitive adhesives or anything like that is going to change the fact that that client has become allergic. Now, people like to throw around allergy like they know what they're talking about. Like, oh, she might have had an allergic reaction. There's a difference between a reaction and an allergy. An allergy is the immune system getting involved, swelling, crusting, pus, watery eyes. Any of those can be a sign of an allergy. That's a doctor thing. That's out of our scope of practice. If they've had reactions before, that may be developing into an allergy. We don't know. But again, if somebody has had a bad reaction to lashes in the past, I do not recommend you letting them into your business. Send them to a doctor, tell them to get cosmetic allergy testing. You can send them the ingredients of your iPads, of your adhesive, any chemical you're putting in or around them, and have them get tested to see if they have a specific allergy. As long as they are not allergic to hydroquinone or cyanoacrylate, the main bonding agents and preservative in our adhesives, then there might be some wiggle room. But if they have an allergy to either one of those, game over. They will always be allergic, and you are setting yourself up for terrible liability if you agree to perform services when you know they've had an allergy in the past. So to sum up, I challenge you to find a win-win situation, a win for you and a win for the potential client. Don't always take the status quo of what everybody else is doing and take it as fact. Challenge the status quo. Find a way to say yes that works. It doesn't always have to mean an automatic yes that I will work on any kind of work. How can you make it work to say yes? That is my challenge for you today. And these are the kinds of trainings and more in-depth stuff that we explore inside the Lashpreneur Society. And I want you to mark your calendars because we are opening up the society again in September, and we are starting it off with our free video workshop series. By popular demand, it's back, Your Best Year Ever. This is a video workshop training where I show you how to make more money in your lash business. I show you the areas you should be focusing on as the entrepreneur, as the business owner, and not as the lash artist, so that you can start to grow your business, how people get more clients in, how lash artists follow a path to success. That is a free video workshop series called Your Best Year Ever, and that is starting September 23rd. Mark your calendars. September 23rd is when we are releasing that video training. Totally free. You can totally join for free to watch those videos. If you want to be notified of when we release those videos, the second they drop, head on over to our society waitlist page where we'll be sending out more details about this workshop series at thelashpreneur.com/society. All right, guys, have a great week, and I'll see you next time.